Hey everyone, my name is Emmanuel Knafo. I'm one of the founders of DevOps Shield, which is an innovative cybersecurity platform for DevOps. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to install the Docker Hub version of DevOps Shield um, from the Azure DevOps marketplace in order to have an additional task in your Azure DevOps to scan from a pipeline your Azure DevOps organization, project, and repository, making sure that you've configured Azure DevOps properly, securely with recommended practices. So let's go ahead and open up a Azure DevOps organization. I have one right here called DevOps ABCs. And if I look at the organization settings, I have some extensions right here. Now, as a project collection admin, I'm able to add extensions. If you can't install project new extensions in your organizations, a little bit later in the video, I will show you how to do all of this, just simply running a regular task and doing a Docker run on the DevOps Shield Docker Hub container. But now I'm assuming that you do have the rights to install an extension. So I'm going to go ahead and browse the marketplace. And you're going to need, optionally, the SARIF SAS scan tabs. I won't install it yet. For now, let's install the main extension. So DevOps Shield in one word. Notice there are two extensions. Be sure to choose the DevOps Shield Security Scanner. So this is the one I'm going to click. And you have all the instructions here. Notice how simple it is to add a, let me make this a little bit bigger, to add basically the DevOps Shield Security Scanner task. It's as simple as that. You just need to add it like this. So please feel free to read the instructions right here. So you have some samples even for a scheduled pipeline, or the alternative approach, as I was mentioning, that doesn't require you to have the ability to install extensions in your Azure DevOps org. Okay, let's go with the assumption that you can install the extension. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do get it free. And then install it in the organization of your choice. So for me, it's going to be DevOps ABCs. I can even proceed to the organization, which brings me back to the org. And I'm going to go into any repo. For example, the juice shop from OWASP, which is a notoriously or infamously unsafe application. So very relevant to what we're trying to do here. And notice I do have a pipeline already leveraging the DevOps Shield extension, just like the documentation showed. It's just adding this task, but let me do it from scratch. All right, so let's go ahead and in the pipeline, create a new pipeline. And I'm going to point to that repository. So it was called OSS Juice Shop. So let me grab that right here. And let's just start with a starter pipeline right here. Okay, I'm going to remove the trigger. And in the pool, notice you could run it either as a Ubuntu agent, hosted agent, or even a Windows hosted agent. The task is smart enough to download the right Docker Hub container. So it'll download the Linux one if you're running Ubuntu latest, or the Windows Nano Server one if you're running Windows. I'm going to remove these default scripts right here, and I'll even show the assistant to show you visually what that looks like. What we would like to do is add, if I search for DevOps, is this DevOps Shield Security Scanner right here. So notice it says DevOps Shield Security Scanner ensures your Azure DevOps organization follows recommended security practices. So certainly something as a developer or as a security specialist, I would like to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that task. Make sure that you have the mouse at the right place. So I'm just putting it under steps and then clicking on DevOps Shield Security Scanner. And it's added the task for me. If you're not happy with the path, you might want to change that. So I'm going to put it in a subfolder. Let's call it DevOps-Shield. Actually, I'm going to do it as a recommended practice as well. I'm going to do it under a folder called .Azure DevOps, and then / a subfolder called DevOps Shield. And then, I mean, you could rename the pipeline. For now, I'll just call it Azure Pipelines, DevOps Shield Demo. And it's as simple as that. Once you've picked a location, you picked a pool, in my case, Ubuntu, and then that single DevOps Shield Security Scanner task, I'm ready to save and run. Normally, you wouldn't directly commit to the main branch, but this is just a demo. So let me go ahead and save and run right here. So of course, normally you'd have it go through a pull request and so on. And that's it. It's running the actual pipeline. So let me go ahead and you can see, notice it's trying to run that pipeline right here. I'm going to go ahead and go inside. And when you're running the pipeline, just simply look at the job. Notice it is downloading. It's doing a Docker run for the container, pulling it. Don't be so concerned with these fails right here. It's actually running with the permissions that basically with the system token. And certain things it can do and certain things it can't. So depending on what access the system token has, it will be able to fetch various data. So I got some warnings right here, and I'm just basically waiting for everything to finish. And actually, it's already done. The scan is done. Let me just show you a little bit what happened. I'm going to do a Control-N right here. It basically, scrolling up, there's quite a bit of, as you can see, there's quite a bit of violations, if you will. So things that are wrong with links as well a priority, like a low, critical, high, medium, and so on priority, and steps to remediate. And then notice at the very, very end, let me do a Control-N, it uploaded 2 files. It based into this code analysis logs artifact. So let's look at that a little bit more carefully. So notice I have in the published artifact, basically I have a CSV which looked a lot like the log I just showed you. And there's a SARIF format of the report. SARIF is a JSON and it's a standard. So if you would like, there are various SARIF viewers out there on GitHub, one available for free and so on. You could download the JSON and look at it as well. But in Azure DevOps, there's a nice way of looking adding a scans tab, which will show you the SARIF file in a nice visual way. So let's go ahead and do that. In order to do that, you need an additional extension. So I'm going to go back to the marketplace. So manage extensions. Sorry, I wanted to do a browse marketplace. And it's actually here. It's this one here. It's by Microsoft Dev Labs. It's called SARIF SAST Scans tab. And if you just search for SARIF, you would probably find it as well. Let me just do SARIF. Yeah, so it's this Scans tab here by Microsoft Dev Labs right here. So let me go ahead and click on that. And also do a get it for free and install it in the same organization. So let me proceed back to the organization. And if we look at that pipeline that we ran, the same pipeline that we ran, we don't need to rerun it. Now we have a scans tab. Notice it appears right here, the scans tab. So we just ran this pipeline with the results, but now that we have the scans tab, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I now see the full breakdown. Let me just collapse this right here. So I have all of the, basically all of the errors or security errors or misconfigurations or best practices that aren't followed in your Azure DevOps organization that it was able to detect. It's a little sad. I have 294 in this sandbox environment. But notice you could go to any one of these, like for example, ADO project repositories, settings, disable forking. It's telling me, it's suggesting for me to disable forking right here. And it's considered a high risk right here. So you have the documentation, basically the documentation that usually on Microsoft Docs. So if I open this in a new tab, notice it's telling me, hey, you should disable, sort of the best practices for repositories and so on. So you'll get instructions there, even manual instructions on how to fix this. So in this case, for instance, you might want to basically navigate to your project settings, open the repositories links under repos, select the repository, go to the settings tab, and then turn off forks, right? And actually, this information is in this second link right here. It's all right here. It even tells you how to do it. So you could basically navigate. If I wanted to fix this, I could just navigate to the resource in question. So notice this is repository settings for the Dev Test Lab shared. Go ahead and go there. And I'm already at the right place, so I could disable forking by turning this off right here. I won't do it, but that's how you fix these. So you get a bunch of fixes. You can even determine which ones are new, updated, absent, pick the level that you want to see, and so on. So a great way to remedy or remediate your misconfigurations and security issues. So it's as simple as that.